The plastic bin box shown here has a few features that I want to change to clean up the design. In this case, I want the inner sidewalls of the box to be smooth, without these small cutouts. I also don't want the tabs at the top to be hollowed out. In addition, I want to add a small amount of draft to the side supports, along with adding small chamfers on these inner corners. These changes can be incorporated by reordering some features in the Design Manager, as well as rolling back to a certain point in the design history and incorporating new features. To get started, I want the inside of the plastic bin box to have smooth walls that don't follow the contour of the exterior faces. This means that the shell feature shouldn't be placed at the very end of the feature order. Xdesign allows you to move features around in the Design Manager as long as you're not trying to move it above a feature it's depending on. All I have to do is click and drag the shell feature where I want it, which I'll place between Extrude 1 and Sketch 4. And now the shell feature is only removing the inner geometry from the original Extrude feature. This allows all the other downstream features to retain their geometry without the shell command cutting into them. Because of this, the inner walls of the plastic bin box are smooth, and the ridge around the top isn't hollowed out. The next changes I want to make to this design involve modifying the H support on the side. I want to add draft to the side walls of the supports and add chamfers to the inner corners. I could go ahead and start adding them directly, but because this H support is mirrored to the other side of the box, I want these features to be incorporated before the mirror feature. To do this, I can drag this dot in the Design Manager back to the last feature I want included, which in this case is the Extrude 4 feature. If I rotate the part, you can see the support is only on one side of the model. Now I'll add the draft feature by clicking the command here in the action bar, then clicking on the front face as the neutral plane, selecting all the side faces of the supports, leaving the angle set to 5 degrees, and clicking OK. You may have also noticed that the draft feature was added in the Design Manager directly below the Extrude 4 feature just above it. This is because I added the feature once I rolled back to the extrude. Next, I want to add chamfers to these inner corners of the H support. I'll enable the command from the action bar, click on all 4 inner edges, make sure the distance is set to 5 mm at a 45-degree angle, and click OK. Now, all the modifications are included in the H support on this side of the plastic bin box. So if I roll back down to the end of the Design Manager, the H support is patterned back to the other side of the box and includes the features I added to the original. Reordering features and rolling back in the design aren't the only ways to make modifications. You can edit feature properties directly. The next modification I want to make involves thickening the sidewalls of the box, which means editing the existing shell feature. To edit the command, I can either double-click on it, or I can click on the 3 dots and then select Edit from the icons that appear. In the dialog box, I'll increase the thickness from 1 mm to 3 mm, click OK, and the model updates automatically. Now I want to extend the ridge all the way down to the angled corner on the front, and I want to extend farther out away from the exterior sidewalls of the box. This means I'll need to edit the extrude feature. I'll double-click on it, and I can see that there's another enclosed profile in the sketch I can use. I'll make sure the Select Profiles box is enabled and click on the other sketch profile to add it. I also want to extend the ridge outward by 7.5 mm, so I'll change the depth here and click OK, and the model updates with the new ridge. The last modification I want to make is to add some additional chamfers to the corners on the inner bottom face of the box. I could create a new feature and start selecting edges, but I know I want them to be the same size as one of the chamfers I created earlier. This means I can edit the feature and simply add more edges to the selection. I'll edit chamfer 3 and select all the edges and click OK. Now these edges are chamfered as well, simply by editing a feature and clicking on a few additional edges. This completes all the modifications I wanted to make to the plastic bin box.